the Ash Bond, a measure of personal power and personal growth. As one overcomes obstacles in their lives, their bond begins to show changes as well. And many never get to see the heights of their own potential, as they are held back by personally erected walls within their own mind, to fight against their lives and leave stones unturned in the pursuit of their own advancement. Some of the most powerful amongst Amaranth rise to fame simply by virtue of the rank of their bond. Dallas Atla was one such individual, much to her chagrin. Though little is known of Dallas, from before arriving in Amaranth, rumors and insight from those who dwell in the shadows are a flow impossible to staunch. Some such rumors come in the lyrics of the world-renowned playwright, Talarian Fisher. Welcome everyone to the Dragonleaf, the Teahouse where tales are told.
This is where I live now. I was told to welcome travelers, but I don't feel like that includes everybody, so I want to say welcome everyone. I like to stay in one place, and I like to be welcomed too, so welcome everybody. I practice so hard, and this is going to be really good. If you like the story, like and scribe weekly with your tales. Leave cement with the suggestion spell and tell us if you did it. Thanks for listening. It's time to open up shop. Where is the one? This one. It's this one. Yeah.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Haka put the cement down.
No, the cement's perfect. Anyone that has something negative to say can wear that cement to the bottom of the lake.
That's not how this works. Oh, you guys don't share our opinions?
What?
That's a mistake.
Wait, what ash bonds do you have?
These unbound, how dare they speak to us?
You missed it when you start talking about Dallas, all like your show was, she's gay! She's so gay!
Well, now we know. There's
Yeah.
that irony in motion once more.
Yes.
Last time, continuing into the dungeon, the Deviants collected the black flame from the knight guarding the northern gate and continued down the pathway towards the manor, where after discovering a side path into the mountain, descended into the forest of ashen trees. Reading a cryptic hint, they continued into the forest with Selene's sparse guidance, and continued past a clock-shaped pass into a frigid storm. As the wind blows cold and they move deeper into the forest, attempting to discover the pathway to the next floor, Selene crying out, "We have to get lost." This is where we jump back in. Welcome back, everybody. Now, as you move in and the frigid breeze begins to blow against you, what do you do?
Did anyone else hear those or feel those footsteps? Vincent will turn around and look on the horizon.
Yeah.
Roll perception.
Seven. It's not bad from an at one.
You glance off into the distance, and previously where there were these like loud footsteps that are ringing out towards you, as you just hear the ripping of wind moving past your ears and this frigid cold as it stings against your exposed skin. Although what you guys are currently wearing, most of you are very cold. Vincent, you feel just the sting of the cold air around you.
Yeah, I automatically succeed any extreme cold weather checks.
So, when we did hear the footsteps, right? Like, all of us were able to hear them?
With your guys', yes, all of your passive perceptions would have
Okay.
picked up the footsteps previously.
So, Matilda wants to math meme figuring out the estimated distance of how far away they were with the sound.
Okay, go ahead and
a
roll
guesstimate.
investigation.
Yeah, it's not going to be exact, but it's a guesstimate. No, bad.
9. You're entirely uncertain. It's probably the ripping of the cold wind around you, but you couldn't pinpoint it.
There's too many variables. I don't know how tall or how big their feet are. There's just too much, like, yeah, I can't.
We try and outrun them and get the fuck out of this cold.
Do we know what direction we're running in? And look towards Selen.
I say we pick one.
Let's just go right now.
Okay, Vincent just starts going then.
Do we hold hands? Huh?
Vincent goes. I don't think he waited.
Selene
Jojo will
turns
take it.
as you guys begin to move deeper and deeper into the area. The wind picks up to the point where you are enshrouded in a fog of frost and sleet. Everybody roll a perception check with disadvantage. If anybody has the means to navigate via ways other than sight, now is the time to use them.
Can I guide myself on my perception check?
Yes, absolutely.
You said disadvantage, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I can't see shit!
You call this out into the open air, and as you all continue running, you see the silhouettes of your allies begin to descend into the white fog. Vincent, with your perception, you look around and you do manage to spot one of your allies. Who is it?
Are
you rolling?
Why?
RD4. Predecessor to R2D.
I see Killian.
1d4 2. You see Killian. As you siphon towards Killian, following that yellow stripe in the hair, you manage to grasp onto her back, and you can pretty also just the
Yeah, that's why I figured I would have sensed Killian. She's a decent silhouette in the noise and everything. And in your head, you just hear Vincent saying, "Killian, do you see anyone else?"
In my head, I say, no. But Strumbeak with Bladebeak, they usually roll together perception with advantage, and so I just rolled a single die. They got 22, so I don't know if Strumbeak has spotted anyone and is making mechanical farting noises.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Who do you choose Strumbeak to have seen? Basically, when you guys were running, you were clumped together. But as you went into the storm, each of you kind of branched off slightly and just began to move out as quick as possible. So basically, who were you keeping an eye on as you guys were running?
I think Strumbeak was keeping an eye on... Because, yeah, Killian is not aware of anything. Strumbeak was keeping an eye on our cleric, whose name I haven't put in...
Selene.
Selene?
Selene, yeah.
As you continue to chase after Selene, the three of you and your mechanical creations find her as you breach forward into this one section. And as you look around, you find the trees themselves just dense. Give me 1 moment.
I picture as we come out of the fog, and Killian probably points in a certain direction, being like, "I think Selene is over there" or something. And we'll move to over there, and then as he breaches out, his tail will go out and twine around her wrist to stop her from moving forward a little bit. And then in her mind, she'll be, "Your saviors are here." You'll basically say.
She reaches a hand out, and as you grab that, you see her kind of do another couple rounds around the tail and holds onto it like a rope, and just begins to pull in. And she's like, "Why is this rope getting thicker?" And then she reaches your body basically an inch in front of your face. She's like, "Oh, hi, Vincent." She backs away, and even the few inches away from you, wall of white, damn near impossible.
You mind letting that go? It's useful.
Yes, let's go. And then you guys begin to hear move past you. As the wind, you see it siphon like a cyclone for a brief moment before it begins to settle once more. As it moves directly past you. The three of you kind of stand here for this brief moment, and as that wind gets pulled away for a half second, you spot trees around you in the vague area before that white fog rolls in once more, completely blocking your vision. Jojo, as you continue running, for a brief moment, and you're not sure which direction it came from, but you hear Matilda screaming out just "fuck!" or whatever it was previously that echoes out into the... you guys do not know where each other are.
Oh, we were
lost
holding
hold
hands
of each other?
As you guys were running forward, you guys completely lost line of sight. That perception previously was to see where everyone was going. But as you
Okay.
all kind
Okay.
of just briefly scattered, did you guys narratively state that you were holding hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something I missed. Everybody?
No,
No,
Only
Just
Just
Jonah
those
was like,
two.
"Can we hold hands?" And then
Perfect.
Jonah was like, "Oh."
Because I was like, I really do not recall that. But
No,
if you
no, no.
are holding hands, then perfect. You two are together at current, and as you were running, that makes this more interesting. What do you two do as you find that you've lost the rest of your party?
Oh, great.
Well, Good. Should I yell out? I'm just gonna attract monsters, maybe.
What direction is the wind blowing? Is there like a way that's better for visibility if we like turn a certain way?
You have like knowledge of directions and such with keen mind as well, right? You always know which way is north.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. The wind is blowing at you from the east.
What was the next part of the puzzle? It was
Oh, hold
over
on.
forest under till, I think.
Yeah, it was wayward frost over forest. Should you put me on on your shoulders?
To get a good view. I can't see anything past 2 inches. Can you?
Fuck no.
How are we supposed to find the bridge?
Oh, I have an idea, and I like cast light. The cantrip.
You cast light and somehow it removes visibility. The entire area around you is now illuminated as the light bounces off the water vapor in the storm.
What the fuck?
Hey!
Hey, can you see this stupid light?
Like,
guys just
2
hear-
feet away from you? Yeah.
This is dumb. Let's pick an area and run. We're supposed to get lost, right?
Roll a
There you
d8
go.
if you want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, I hold. I grab Jojo's hand with purpose. Don't let go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what else to do, so sure.
Around you, as you guys begin to run, you hear rip past you. Once again, the wind begins to pull away as the storm for a brief moment like abates in that direction, and a aftershock of force just passes by you. You guys are almost pulled from your feet, and then it begins to encircle around you. As you guys see the wind that is coming from the east begin to slowly turn into a roundabout.
Just into the dirt or the snow.
You guys dive down. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Ninja.
Oh, right. I didn't ninja. Ignore.
I'll delete this one.
Always forget the ninja.
Okay. You guys turn, you dive into the dirt, and as you do so, you can still hear just this faint pulling around you, but that strength of the storm, that just ripping wind, has abated to a degree. Now just a dense, frigid fog continues to just sit around you, and as it begins to spin, you find it encircling your perimeter, almost in an attempt to entrap you, as though whatever is here has noticed you. And it just continues this perimeter for a brief moment.
Can I take a pot shot at what I think is perimeting us?
Take an attack roll with disadvantage.
Okay, I'm gonna try and beady it. Okay, I need to target something, so I'm sorry, Paka, but I'm gonna target you.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay. And you said disadvantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, spray and pray. I'm a turret. Alright, do I hit? Does a 19 hit?
19 with disadvantage. You take aim into the just frigid frost, and as you see the movement begin, you're just like math meme. Okay. This is the distance from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. They're moving in concentric circles. So as they move to this point, and the wind has begun to hit here, I am 5 degrees to the right, and boom! Let loose this just crackling beam of energy, and you hear, go ahead and roll damage as your beam makes purchase into some kind of creature in the distance.
Get fucked.
Matilda, you rolled the hit, slamming this creature off into the distance, and for a 10 damage, you actually hear the creature kind of, as it's moving just rapidly, enough to move this storm in a way that would cause some form of actual damage. You see a silhouette of a relatively large creature You see wings in the darkness as it kind of just eats shit and slams into the side of the ground and begins to move, and with that is constant motion, that storm begins once again anew and just begins to tear over top of you. You find yourself just in darkness, or in a whiteout, just constantly blasting against you, and you hear the footsteps of this creature kind of scrambling until it reaches once again footfalls and turns and just begins to off into the distance in a direction away from you.
Should we follow it?
Can
That's
I
the
hear
only
it?
direction we have.
Can I hear it?
You hear it. It is. You gotta act fast, but you could chase it if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I pull Jojo in the direction to hear it running.
Okay. You begin to move towards this creature you see or you hear, and you just begin to run. I need you both to make dexterity saving throws.
Has it been an hour since we fought that fire knight?
It has.
Okay, cool. Dexterity check?
Saving throw.
Saving throw.
I have a question. Will we would have been able to have a short rest yet, or no? We haven't.
No.
Canonically had one. Okay, cool.
No, you
Just
guys
checking.
have been just an hour passing. It's not a short rest. You guys got to like sit down and narratively
No, that's fair.
take rest. Yeah.
I'm only asking because I'm a warlock.
Yeah. I'm asking you for a short rest. For 12. As you tear off into the area, Matilda, you rolled one as well. 10. Both of you slam into several trees on your
great.
way, and you hear the ringing of those wings off in the distance. Barely perceptible. Because of your guys' check, one of you can roll perception if you wish, or both of you can roll. However, you will both have disadvantage. So basically, one of you straight roll, or both of you at disadvantage.
Plus 3.
I'd say one straight roll.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Normal.
Oh,
You guys run, and you run, and you run. And the wind does not give in. And as you continue running, eventually, there's nothing underneath your feet anymore. And you begin to fall. The frigid wind in front of you gives way immediately as you find yourselves now descending a cliff as you now look up, and you can see this creature, this just frost-like humanoid bird woman that stands pretty much in the nude, holding stones in each talon, flapping up and looking down at you as it begins to move into position to drop these boulders upon you.
Oh, shit.
eaty beady it.
As you are falling rapidly
Featherfall.
down this mountain cliff. Oh,
I said
sweet.
Featherfall.
You bring yourself up, you cast Featherfall. The creature above is just like, counterspell! I'm just kidding.
Ha!
It has its hands full. No, as you Featherfall, the two of you, the energy wraps around you and you begin to descend slowly. However, at this moment, we switch back. The rest of the party, you have heard this strange thing whip past you rapidly and move in towards the isolated party members. But as they are off somewhere that you do not know where they are, you find yourselves hidden within this storm. What do you do?
On Foundry, I can't see anyone, but is it assumed that Killian and Selin are next to us?
They are all with you, correct?
Cool. What direction was it, like north, south, east, west on the Foundry map that we heard the noise flap past us?
It went past you in this direction. Oh, you cannot see anything. So it started here. You should be able to see this, perfect, and it went down this way.
Cool. I turn towards Killian, and because I can still faintly see them in his mind, I can speak to people this way. Should we head towards that? It seems more like it was like flapping noises. It could be a monster.
If it is a monster, where's the others?
I'm not sure. We got separated.
Is
I can try and
is
find them in the snow.
Selene on this?
She reaches a hand down and she places. Oh, is this in your two minds?
Yeah.
Okay. Selene does not know anything.
Yeah, I'll speak up now. I'm just assuming we're in a blizzard, so it's hard to speak. So he'll connect with her. Do you know where we are? What this is?
We are in the middle of nowhere. As far as we did before, we pretty much tied ourselves together. Didn't work. There always seemed to be some kind of a way to separate us. be it just creatures or blades, or sometimes we cut ourselves free. The paranoia and the cold kind of gets to you. But we just were lost for a couple hours until eventually we found somewhere else. We don't want to follow whatever this thing is. Don't follow it. The general rule is we do not want to follow anything. It will pretty much make us lost every time.
Okay,
Although being lost is a good thing here.
I will send the message to Killing, being like, Selen says to avoid monsters at all costs. So we'll go in the opposite direction, and Vincent will cast Detect Thoughts as they go, in hopes that he can sense Jojo and Killian within the vicinity, which is a 30-foot radius around him.
You sense all of the thinking creatures in your immediate vicinity. There is not that token with you. You sense yourself, and like periodically, I think you can also just connect in and touch into their mind.
For the whole minute.
So I'll just give you just total knowledge in this instance. You sense yourself, Paka, Killian, and Selene.
He can't see Paka yet, right? But can I sense? I'll like rip Selen and Killian on the shoulder, and to both of them, like I'll be like, Paka's near us. I can sense him. And I'll try to shout out a little bit, but trying to still stay somewhat quiet. Paka, can you hear me?
I can.
Vincent, can you come towards my voice?
Yes, I'm coming. I'm on my way there.
He screams out, and he's,
Get it closer. Get it closer.
and then he starts whispering, and then he's completely lost in the wind. But as he moves forward, eventually he kind of just bumps into your leg and then reaches up and grabs onto both of your sides. And in his mind, you can just hear,
I'm so cold. But this is so adventurous. I have stories now.
In his mind, gotta stay quiet, dear, but stay with us.
Oh, Vincent, hi, welcome to my mind. I was just thinking how adventurous this was.
and he just kind of begins to lift you through his thoughts and his words out loud.
Yeah, aside from that, I guess we'll just start wandering around trying to see if we can sense the others before a spell is up.
Okay, moving in the opposite direction of the wind that had passed, you guys continue moving. Meanwhile, we pop back for a brief moment. Jojo and Matilda, you begin to rapidly descend this cliff, and as Featherfall is cast upon you, and this cushion of... what does your Featherfall magic look like, Jojo?
I imagine that the feather, she whips out the feather to cast it, and it's like, it's very, like, arcane symbols, like, underneath our feet that slowly descend as we stand on them.
That's really cool. Just like... These symbols appear beneath you and just carefully bring you guys down at 60 feet. As you begin to fall, the creature turns towards you and takes advantage of this brief moment of just hesitation to lob those two boulders in towards you, attacking each of you once. And then, Matilda, you bring your hands back in order to just unleash a blast towards them. So, Jojo, that is an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And then Matilda, as with the other one goes wide, slams into the rock, and they deflect. One flies off away from you, and you kind of dodge on this platform you're on. And then the other one slams into you, Jojo. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw.
Technically, you are still falling. So I guess this would actually be an automatic fail.
Okay.
I'll give you a dex save with disadvantage instead.
I normally have an advantage, so that's a normal save. Okay. 13?
13? That fails. As this rock slams into you, you are lurched back and you slam into the wall behind you as well. Matilda, roll dex save to attempt to grab onto Jojo if you wish.
Yes. Is that with disadvantage?
I'm going to roll a fate dice on that one. You guys are falling, but because of Featherfall, no. That's not disadvantage.
Jojo!
Oh, and that is a natty one to maintain concentration.
I'm going to bring this a bit more into...
no!
I was going to say, I'm going to bring this a bit more into the tense situation it is, and I am followed by Tormund. But as you continue falling, Jojo, you reach out, but you miss... or Matilda, you reach out, but you miss Jojo. Jojo, you slam into the side of the cliff, and you begin to careen off to the side, separating the two of you. As you look down, you see a thick canopy of trees beneath you. And as Matilda, you begin to descend down, and Jojo, you begin to move off to the side. Matilda, in frustration, you loose your Eldritch Blasts. Go ahead and fire off 2 bolts.
What were you concentrating on, Jojo?
Featherfall.
Featherfall's not concentration.
Oh, look at that. Ha!
I don't think you have the concentration on you, correct?
No.
Nope, perfect.
Okay, I can't target anything, my dear Adrian.
You should be able to target yourself.
Oh, sorry, I always forget that I can do that.
That's okay.
My apologies.
I should make a keybind for that.
Attack! First one.
Are you hit?
That's pretty good. You loose the first bolt, and as the frost-like bird woman creature in the distance just sneers with its damage that it's dealt against you, 5, slam into it. You see one wing tear through a hole in the wing. It turns and begins to descend, and you see a frigid wind begin to pour around it before it opens its wings once more, and you see that hole gone.
I aim for the same spot because
you lose the second bolt. 26 also hits. 6 damage. You tear into the same spot again and just open that hole. You hear as the wing opens fully and just looses it. It has used its reaction for this round, so it just begins to plummet as it falls 500 feet. So you guys look down. It's probably going to take you close to a minute to hit the ground at your speed, and you see that thing descend until slams into the ground. I'm going to go ahead and roll.
We also, for the viewers, we have no level or dice cap on our fall. It's just 1 die per 10 feet. Pass.
Yes.
That's good to know for the viewers.
Yep. Good enough for the viewers.
As it begins to descend, you just hear as small ice shards and spikes manage to launch out to the point where they breach the canopy of the forest beneath you. But this creature has just exploded, as far as you can tell from the fall damage. And the two of you begin to descend until eventually...
Like, sucks to be you.
Do you have a grappling hook?
I say we aim for the top of a tree.
Well, we're supposed to go over. Do you think there's a way to get back up there?
It's been about 2 rounds. You guys are now 120 feet down. But
well,
if you think you have a means to do something... Also, Jojo, you are not even within speaking range of Matilda anymore. You slammed into the cliff and are now going, woo. You've been separated.
Okay, okay.
Matilda's plan is to grab the tippy top of a tree and see if she can find a way to pull it back far enough while she's slowly falling to fling her back up in that direction, because that can work sometimes. Not all the time, but it can work sometimes.
Well,
here's what I will say. I cannot think of an action that is more outside of your purview. So I'm going to say you can try this for sure. It can be acrobatics. Yeah. You will have disadvantage on this. This is a wild move. Yeah. But it's super fucking cool, and I want to see it succeed.
Is she near the top, or do we have to...
Basically, as she is descending, this is her plan. So she waits until she hits the treetop, and then attempts to Bugs Bunny Acme launch herself off of it towards Jojo.
Yeah, alright, here we go. Oh, can I guide myself?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll fate dice because you have the time. That's a 2.
Okay.
You hit the top of the tree, and like in your mind, it's perfect. You've thought of all the variables. You hit the tree, foot slips. You immediately just like slam yourself against the tree, and then just begin to fall and just tumble until eventually you breach the top of the tree line and are gone. Jojo, you are basically through the air right now and being held almost like in half gravity as you spin like wild. You've slammed into the wall. You know you're close to the cliff, but as you begin to move, what do you do?
I think she's gonna just try and like figure out like what her situation is looking like. So she's just gonna like try and like stabilize herself. I think first she might just like try and grab the wall just to like get herself stable.
Okay. Do you think that's an athletics check?
It definitely could be.
Okay. I'm just wondering your intent, whether or not you're trying to like figure it out or like athletically grab the wall.
I think she's gonna try and athletically grab the wall so she can stabilize herself so that she can get a better idea of what's going on here.
Perfect. Athletics, please, and thank you. This will be at disadvantage as well because you were careening. Okay.
Well, that's probably not gonna get worse.
It's probably the lowest.
But... Yeah. Oh my god!
Hello, my friend.
Yourself? Why would you do this?
You slam into the wall. As you reach to grab it, you do, You managed to get it, and then just under your grip strength, you crushed the small boulder that was there. You careen to the side, and you feel your leg slam against the wall. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw, or have your leg potentially fracture.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Okay, that's a 23.
With a 23, somehow
I'm a
your
solid
leg
girl.
got stronger. You can feel as you impact into the wall itself crumbles, and you begin to careen off before eventually breaching the top of the trees. You hit a few, and you take note that these trees are somewhat solid.
Oh, they're not from Dash. Cool.
And you begin to descend until you hit the ground. As you both attempt to take in your surroundings, do not see each other. Meanwhile, back with the other party, you guys have begun to run. You run for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You see no sense of your allies. Vincent, as you are running, you begin to sense thinking creatures beneath you, under the ground.
I send this information to the rest of the party, aside from Pocket, because I feel like that would just freak him out. Being like, there's things underneath the ground. Does it feel like they're tracking us, or are they just existing there when we go past?
As you reach this kind of like point and you begin to run past them, because it's like you spot them like, blip, they're there, blip, they're not there. And then as you keep moving, you sense like, blip, there's one. Blip, there's one.
Okay.
But they're basically stationary as you run past them.
Okay, he'll just let them know. There's things underneath our feet, creatures, but they're not following us.
Killian can't see where Paka is, right?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
Also, the detect thoughts only last for a minute, so I'm assuming that happened at the beginning and now it's gone.
Totally cool. You guys were running at a full tilt.
I don't know where the others are. We need to get out of the storm.
I don't have anything for that. I don't know. I'm not good at in the outdoors. I'm a city goblin.
Just stay close.
Okay.
Keep heading in this direction and avoid the monsters. And it might let up soon. And I guess he'll keep trudging along. Unless Selin has like an epiphany halfway through being like, I remember what we did. But right now,
Selin is basically just like, this is good. Fuck, we're fucked. This is good. This is what we have to do. God, it sucks. As she's running blindly.
Killian is, like, once we started running, Killian is going to just, like, grab a couple of, like, just, like, I guess, scrap. Like, she keeps a couple stones on her for magical tinkering. So she's going to take a stone, and just, like, as Bladebeak is, like, rushing forward, just, like, in the saddle, kind of bouncing, and, like, is going to try to record a message, saying, got to the snow, ran all the way through, and then just toss it behind herself. And she's going to do that, every couple minutes, but she can only do it 3 times. So, just in case they do follow behind us, if they get within 10 feet of any of those Tinkerer objects, they will hear that noise and that message.
Gotcha.
Will it be in your voice, or will it just be generic?
In this case, it'll be in my voice, because I'm uttering the message.
You guys continue running, and despite the occasional trip up and the occasional just kind of like bonking into some of these trees that then immediately just powder and turn to ash, you continue running in a just random direction. Eventually, you begin to hear the wind die down, and as you continue pathing your way through, one of you roll a D100 for me.
I'll let you do it this time, Killian. I did last time.
All right. Yeah.
What do you want? In regards to one of these, D100 just determines pathway. It doesn't mean high number good, low number bad.
I know.
Okay, good. I
like to think if I rolled 100, it'd still be good.
Like, oh, it's
Maybe.
under 25. I don't like it.
I do like 100s on the D100. That is true. As you reach the outer area and the wind begins to subside, you hear crunching footsteps in front of you. Then you hear...
Is there anywhere for us to hide? Like bushes, trees, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. You got there is... You're virtually surrounded by obscurement at all times in this place.
Okay. Vincent will gesture for us to go hide somewhere. Because, like, Jojo and Matilda aren't on horses, and that's kind of what it sounds like.
Okay. Killian will go into her pocket, pull out the little toy soldier, and just smack it onto Bladebeak. Turning into a little wooden chicken on the toy soldier for the time being.
Just solidifies, and it just holds this chicken. You see its head turns up, and the mouth just opens as it stares forward towards you. Its best attempt at a wooden smile. But as you all kind of hunker in, give me a group stealth check. Ninya. Selene and Paka as well.
Do I need to roll one for Strumbeak? Or are they just
Strumbeak can be on your shoulder, that's totally
fine. Could I do something to aid in this matter? If they do, I'll wait to see if this fails, and then if I can see them be suspicious and coming towards us, try and distract them with noises in the distance, but I'll wait for that.
Here's what I'm going to say. Immediately, you guys are running forward, and you all clue in, and you begin to move. Paka and Selene continue walking forward, and don't seem to have noticed
in their
this
heads,
thing.
I'm just like, get behind cover.
They turn, and as they kind of look back towards you, you hear this, like, du-du-dum, du-du-dum, du-du-dum. You take interest in it, because typically, far as you can tell, horses have more than 3 feet. But this continues just du-du-dum, 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 du-du-dum. And then in the distance, as you guys kind of pull back into the side of the ashen forest and try and keep yourselves hidden here. Right, it won't be coming out now. Don't want no trouble. If you're monsters, I'm gonna blast your shit. Give everyone this warning, you get 1. 3. I'm gonna count to 3, down from 3. 3, 2, what do you do?
Okay. Do you mind holding up? I prefer to keep my pretty face. Vincent will stand up and he'll look towards Killian, and in her head, stay here.
As you look forward, you see, well, as far as you can tell, some kind of... I don't know that you're entirely certain what this is. Go ahead and roll Arcana. Levin, you see a race of an individual you do not recognize. White fur. On a white creature, wearing white clothing. White eyes. Because everything is in shades of gray. But as it approaches you, you actually see this, like, big, bulbous eyes that almost seem to shine, and as they blink too, like, they just blink vertically in towards you. Moving in cautiously, they're like, well, you ain't monsters at all. Riding on top of a massive 3-legged beetle with these just massive mandibles out the front, a huge bag on its back behind.
Can I ask you a question? So obviously me and Killian were hiding. Vincent just gave away like himself. He stood up and he's walking forward, basically trying to distract from the other ones that are still hiding. Was Paka and Celine able to dive into a bush before this as well?
They moved back at your command, but as you begin to approach, he says, I know there are 2 more of you. Bring up the lizard and the drow woman.
Okay.
We're going to be friendly here, right?
Of course, dear. Simply just trying to stay warm.
Dear. I like you already. It just kind of like moves in towards you, and you can see the beetle that had its eyes trained on you aggressively just kind of like open as the mood shifts slightly, and he just begins to kind of move in and begins to sidle up next to you, kind of cycling around and taking a look at you with these massive beady eyes. Oh, what do we have here? You adventurous?
Something of the sort.
Oh, something like adventurous. You smell like you got an Ashfall, that's for sure. What do you want?
It depends what you want, dear.
Oh, I traveled. You knew, ain't you?
What do you mean?
I travel these lands. I'm somewhat of a trader. You looking for something?
Depends what you're selling, but maybe information. You haven't seen our companions, have you?
Maybe. What they look like? Are they night people?
He'll give like a brief description. Small, human, with brown curly hair, large individual, green. But as he's doing this, he wants to... I'm going to insight, like, I want to make sure everything he's saying is true. I'm not getting a vibe that he's trying to be deceitful, because I don't think that the creatures in the dungeon would be like, "Oh, you're ash bonded adventurers." I don't think they know what we are.
So as you sit back and you try and intuit this individual, go ahead and roll insight. Your passive can be a floor on this one for sure.
27.
Okay. He seems to be very forthright. He does not seem to be withholding any kind of information from you, though he is wary of you, absolutely. Despite the fact that he seems friendly, he also seems confident.
Are you some sort of adventurer yourself? You know, I don't really recognize.
Oh, I came in here once, long upon a time ago, and then pulls down his shirt, and you see an ash bond. Go ahead and roll religion.
Would Selene know with all of her fucking holy symbols?
Selene wouldn't actually. Vincent,
14.
you don't recognize this ash bond. And he kind of like, you can see it extends far past. At the very least, he's more than first rank. But then he just throws his like warm clothing back on and covers himself. And then you can see underneath his warm clothing, he's got like, when he pulled down his shirt, you can see like a bikini line. And then he just pulls his shirt back on and just scuttles back onto his bug that positions itself. It just hits the ground and begins to shimmy until the dust begins to pour up around it. And he's like, you want information? You want to see if I know something about your friends? Tell you what, give me some money, and I'll let you know whether or not I've seen your friends. Now, I haven't seen your friends, so it's not going to be very expensive. 2 gold pieces.
To let me know that you haven't seen my friends.
Yeah.
Well, what if I change my mind? I don't really want to purchase this.
That's fine. I don't want to keep you to nothing. I got valuable information.
Of course. However, I am willing to leave a message with you. Do you ever? You say you travel around, right?
I do.
You see them. Deliver a message. Let them know that Vincent will explain kind of the area we were and the direction we went out from the blizzard and stuff. Let them know that we're all together.
Okay. I also got some magic items in here. I got some potions, just stocked up recently. I got steeders, just off in the distance over there. You can ride them. They're pretty good. I like them. They're my friends.
Steeders.
Now, they monsters. They're monsters. All right? They're monsters. But don't...
Beetle.
You hurt my steeders, I'm gonna fucking find you.
I have no issue with any particular kind of people, dear.
All right, then. Take each your word for that one.
How far am I from Killian?
As far as you wanted to be.
Well, just to show, amicable, you seem, forthcoming. Vincent's pretty confident in his abilities to assess someone. Would you let me and my companions through here, or?
Oh, I don't hold nobody back. You can go if you like. I make my living off of finding adventurers like yourself and just selling your stuff. Now, you want some stuff? I got dice. He pulls out a set of dice and he plays them down. He's like, I got this candle. Pulls the candle out, reaches out into his backpack. He's like, I got a lock. Throws it down. I got this. He's spices. By spices, places it down. It's comfortable. Pulls out a great sword that glows with moonlight. He's like, got this, and throws it off to the side.
Hold up, dear. Vincent will kind of swivel around and look towards his companions. I think it's safe to come out. I mean, there's no need to necessarily be on guard. I like this individual. What was your name again?
That'll cost you.
He'll throw him 5 gold. That'll include the charge for the message as well.
Oh, now that's the interesting thing, is I was only going to charge 2. So you can actually have 3 back, and then I'll take 1 for my name. Actually, that's 2. I'll give 5 silver. So here's 2 golds, 5 silver back for you now. Okay. My name is Bagara. I'm a trader. I travel the lands with my friends, my steeders here. Now, if you don't harm them. If you ever see these fantastic creatures wander in the wilds, just don't hurt them. They're mine, and they're my friends. Now, you promise me you do that, then we got no problems.
Vincent will just kind of like, not full bow, but kind of like gesture in front of him and tilt his head down towards the steed. Is it like, sort of like got that oil sheen on it that beetles usually do?
It is. As far as you can tell, It seems rather colorful based on the various different hues of its shell, but the shell is chitinous, does not look slick.
It's quite a beautiful creature. Gets the job done.
My friend. He reaches a hand out to shake yours.
Vincent shakes it.
Yes, my friend. Now, if you would like to ride some of these brilliant creatures through this hereby forest, they know some of the pathways. They help you out a bit, and they're really good on they soft on their feet, you know, so they get past the dust real good. You know, they're helpful. As he leans back, narratively speaking, these creatures, while riding them, give you advantage on perception to find your way, and they also give you advantage on any checks related to traverse the actual terrain of the area while on the 4th floor. So it's pricey, though. They're about 20 gold pieces each, but they remain with you till you leave, and they don't leave the 4th floor. That's where they're born. That's where their home is.
Selin, Bianca, what do you think? Do you want to ride one of those?
She looks at us like... Bianca's like, yeah. And he moves over. Selene's like, if we have to.
Can we double up?
Fucking birds everywhere. Takes out a hand crossbow. See a crow just fall out of the sky and hit the ground. He reaches over, grabs it, throws it over his shoulder. That's my dinner. Oh my god! Takes out a knife and just... The bird falls to ash, and he's like, I don't think.
Sorry, one of my companions was shy. Killian, you can come out now.
Killian just kind of like dusts herself off from like the ashes that she had kind of like scooped onto herself. Just kind of like picking it out of her hair, but comes walking up a little sheepishly. She gives a very wide berth to the giant beetle.
As you approach, the figure looks at you and says, "You're the 3rd goblin I've seen come through here recently. That's wild. One of which with some mercenaries, and the other, actually, I should be charging for this. The mercenary one will be 2 silver pieces. But then the one that you don't know about, that'll be 2 gold.
But dear, don't you love your lovely little conversations with us?" And Vincent will give him a nice smile.
Roll persuasion. It's not a hard DC. He seems like a lonely individual.
17.
17? Oh, you know I do. You know I do. All right, fine. I'll give you a discount this time. And he pulls out 2 silver and hands it to you, Killian. He's like, there was a discount on the original sum, so it ended up being I owe you 2 silver. Here you go. There was a goblin. I mean no offense. Don't know what kind of goblin person was. If it was a hill goblin, mountain goblin, lightfoot goblin, you know, sea goblin, I don't know. But from a distance, was wearing lots of leathers and was associated with a bunch of human folk. Mercenaries looked like. And the other one came down the other direction, running headlong towards the city. It was an interesting-looking figure. And then they begin to describe this individual, who, in your experience, as far as you can tell, it's a long shot. Things must have changed in the while you've been apart, but this could be Talca.
Wait. Okay, leathers, goblin, lots of humans. What? There was a goblin going in the other direction?
Yeah, it was running down toward the Dancing Pass, which leads to the main kind of thoroughfare of the Forest of Ash.
Dancing Pass? What does that mean?
Oh, y'all don't have a map?
Do you have one for sale, do you?
I do. That one's pricey, though.
Vincent smiles at him again. How much?
I'd probably be somewhere around 280 gold pieces.
Is that with my discount, do you?
That's going to be a whole new perception check right there. Persuasion, I mean.
24.
24. Now, this is a valuable piece, and you were close. You were real close to convincing me. But I'm afraid 280 gold stand.
Well, there goes our dinner date.
I'd
much
love
do
to have
on
you
right
sometime
now?
if you don't mind.
Sorry, Killian, what was that?
Vincent just feels a pull. Like, how much do you have on you right now?
A bit. I don't have that much though. Didn't think to bring it into the dungeon. Killian, Vincent will look back up. I want to purchase it. Do you go back to the city from time to time? Did I give you a bank
No,
maybe?
I'm afraid I don't leave the 4th floor. I just find some people. I have a kind of like a trade caravan, if it were. We're made up with some scholars. I help them out. They help me out. If I leave the 4th floor, I'm going to lose my friends here. He placed his hand on the steeder.
Understandable.
We did find an equivalent to 70 gold through our travels so far.
Yeah. I don't like Vincent only brought like 70 gold with him. Like we need far more than that.
I
don't know
have
how much Killian.
158 on me.
Math. I don't know if Selin has no gold.
Selin has no gold. Paka says, I have 556 gold.
So we can't give away all of our gold because then we starve. Wait,
Yeah.
how much does Paka have on him?
Perfect. I am glad that was exactly the situation. 595 gold pieces.
Paka, dear, you wouldn't want to get us a map, would you?
Sure.
We'll
look
pay you
towards
back
the
when we get back
individual.
to the city.
He looks down and he's like, oh, you a mule, are you? Oh, gotta stick together. And he gives him a pat on the shoulder. Then Paka pulls out a big bag from his bag and just leans it down. He's like, here you go. And he goes to hand the whole bag to him.
Paka, is that
Yeah.
280 or is that everything?
This is the gold.
Oh, let's bring it over and Vincent will divvy up 280.
Okay.
While oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue.
While that's happening, Killian is just like trying to get more information out of Bagara. Is that it?
Yep.
And just like, are you sure? Like, what did she have weapons? Did she have armor? Was she bound?
Oh, she seemed to be in a bad way. She was she had a short sword. Seemed actually rather nice, kind of flourished out in the gray, particularly gray, I might say. But other than that, she running, had a hand around an arm and was just rushing forward. Had a kind of like a hair tied up tight around the head, probably coming from further in.
Is this a friend of yours?
Yeah. How you've been around a lot? You've been here a while?
I've been here a while, yeah.
Have you ever seen her before?
Ooh. Oh, I gotta jogging the old noggin here. That was once, maybe. I feel like you're pretty familiar too, actually. But I'm sorry, I can't remember. Must have been too long ago.
Not bound, from what you could tell.
I didn't see no ash bomb, but was wearing pretty warm clothing. Not on the face, back of the neck, of the arm, as far as I know. As
No,
Is he-
Killian just like starts muttering to herself like under her breath. Is like gonna go sit down next to a tree.
yeah, as he like kind of you just hear like the shimmying creature lift up and moves over towards you, then just slams down. He just places a hand on your shoulder. He's like, "Hey, I know it gets hard when someone tells you about people that have been around, but they're not here right now. It can be hard. For example, I had friends, and they're over there." And he points over towards the other bugs, and he's like, "But they're not here right now, and that's painful to me. And I understand. And then he looks back towards Vincent, who is currently counting. But in the meanwhile, as Bagara attempts to console you in the only way he knows how, confusing statements, we circle back. Matilda and Jojo, you do not know where you are. You have landed in a forest, descended far from where you were previously. Looking up the cliff, you can see in the distance where you had fallen from. The wind itself, you can see just this constant just vicious gale above you, like a line drawn in the roof of where you currently stand. Around you, you see it's actually rather clear. The wind here is nice, but as you look around, you can see that there are nettles in the ground. These just spires, like coils of metal with thick spines along them that just grow along the ground, and they go particularly dense in one direction, and in the other direction, the trees themselves seem to bend at odd angles to and from each other, like humanoids dancing in motion. Both of you see this in various different directions.
Are the things, like, my question is, are they actually plants, or are they made of, like, different material?
No nature check required on this one. You are plenty trained for this. As you glance down and look at them, they seem to be some kind of local flora.
Okay. Is there a tree that's, like, low enough that I can at least attempt to climb up it a little bit?
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll athletics.
Okay. Okay, Matilda, you can do this. Oh, yep, no, I can't.
You try and climb the tree. As you do so, it just crumbles underneath the weight of even Matilda.
Okay, well, this is stupid. Matilda just starts doing a firebolt and starts to attempt to start a forest fire to let people know where we are.
Okay.
Matilda's just like, anything that looks like flammable, she's just like, yep, come on, let's go this way.
As for Jojo like takes out her enduring journal and flips to a blank page, and she writes out what she remembers of the hint. She's like, Undertill, Overforest, Undertill, and she's just trying to rack her mind to think if Undertill has any hint towards this situation.
Go ahead and roll investigation. Meanwhile, you do begin to hear, like, crackling, because, Matilda, everything around you is flammable.
Can my flump give me the hell back?
Absolutely. It goes up towards you, and it's just like...
Oh, nice! Natty 20. The flump just starts slapping the word.
Till. As you look down and kind of just aggressively try and figure this out, your current situation, you ascertain, is far too hectic to have led towards, like, the proper pathway. You do ascertain that you are likely well and truly off the path.
You're very lost. Great.
Is there smoke happening?
Yeah. Meanwhile, at this point, you begin to hear and just crackling as flames begin to rise in the distance, and you see clouds begin to rise out from your east.
Okay. Fuck. Jojo takes out a spell scroll and sort of whips it open, and she starts waving her hand over it in specific lines. And Killian, there's like an arcane rune that's around by your ear, and in it you hear, Matilda and I were together, we fell down a cliff, we're under now, we're in the forest.
You're gonna have to roll to cast a 3rd level sending spell.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That will be Arcana, please. I'd like to
Arcana check.
DC 13.
I could use Eureka on myself before this, right?
Yep, you would know for sure.
Okay. And could Flump give me advantage?
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah, that one I don't
so
even
weird.
know how that
Technically,
works.
the help action just grants you advantage on your next attack roll or ability check, and this is an Arcana ability check.
Great.
So the
I don't
flump
know
is
if it
just
does
going.
an ability check. I'll check.
The
That's a
flump is just
24.
slamming the book and being like, till. No, you have to read the Erd rune this way. But
yes, so what you hear, where was I? Is fell down the cliff, we're in the forest,
Got separated.
got separated. What next?
you have 13 words left if you wish.
Oh, that's so many. I might try and find a way to get back. Or find Matilda.
the message ends.
Sorry, Bagara. Vincent, I just got a sending from Jojo.
Okay.
They got split up, and they fell down a cliff. They're in the under now.
What is the under?
You know, over forest, under till. But they got split up. Jojo's gonna try to find a way to get back. What's the plan?
You talking cliff? You say cliff? Yeah.
I said cliff.
Only one cliffside. You got the.
Vincent
it
hands
is
over
called
the
the cliffside.
280 gold map, please.
Thank you. He takes it. What he produces for you is a massive, monstrous mishmash of map making. Sorry about that. As you glance towards the map, I do have a map. It will take a hot minute to bring it in. Therefore, let's take a break here. As you look up above you, Matilda, hoping that the smoke kind of carries through, you do note that there is basically a veil of frigid wind that is covering that. As the smoke rises, it hits that and just whoop, is taken with it.
You fell for 500 or more feet.
As you sit staring out, the rest of the second half of the party has left the frigid wind and is now kind of off to the side, having found some solace. They've met with Bagara the trader. And on the map, I will show you here. For a brief moment. This madness is where you now stand. So, for those, Matilda and Jojo, you do not currently have access to this, but having sent a sending spell back to Killian, we jump back in. So, Killian, you're up.
Okay. How long can I hold on to a sending response before it, dissipates? Is there a time limit for that?
I think in the past, we've just done 1 minute per spell level. So this was a base sending at 3rd level, so you have 3 minutes.
Okay. Then yeah, Killian's just rushing over the map with Vincent to help.
Well, this is more of a flow chart than a map, dear. But we'll discuss that later. And he'll be like...
It's at least readable.
Yeah. There's a cliffside here at 4N.
But Bagaro, where are we right now? If there was a "you are here."
Oh, so you're wondering where we is right at this moment. Let me go ahead and pop open. Give me that map right there.
It's already open, dear.
Well, give it to me. He takes a look at it over your shoulder. Oh, I don't need it. I just need to see it. Completely contradicting what he had just said. He says, you came from the Forest of Ash. You're brand new here, right? How long you been here?
How long? I don't know, a couple hours.
Okay, a couple hours. You've been here a while then. You went through the Clockwork Forest, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Then you probably
we were in the canopy. It was very cold there.
You're just at the edge of the canopy. You head on east, you hit the Crystal Lake. If you go north, actually, he points up, and then you can see the trees kind of growing taller above you, and you're right in the middle in this kind of transitionary period. He points off in the distance towards a massive forest of redwoods. And he's like, that over there is the canopy. Now you're gonna have to search the roof for a while till eventually you find some kind of wooden bridges, and then once you get up there, that's the way across. You don't get up on those bridges, you're never passing through this area. You just keep circling.
Okay. Well, if we're at the edge of the canopy, there's a connection point to the cliffside. It seems they fell down. So they're there. I don't think there's no way back. There's no back arrow there, so they'd have to go back to the 4A. We could meet up at the Clockwork, but that means we'd have to go back through that snowstorm.
I can't help but notice a lot of these don't have a back and forth arrow. It's just a forward arrow. We can't go back into that storm, can we? We just end up somewhere else here?
Yeah, it don't work like that, really. Most of the time, once you get to the end of a path, if it don't want you going back through, it just closes behind you.
Beautiful. So, looking at this, they could head back to the beginning. and then they can get to us because we can't go back.
All right.
From where we are, we can head towards the Crystal Lake or the farmhouse. Or we could go down to the crag, I guess. Seems like a bad idea.
When responding to ascending, do you have to say the words out loud?
I don't think so.
No.
Is it purely telepathic?
I do not. Yeah, I do not believe that you need to say them out loud.
You could. I don't think there's anything against doing it, but I don't think
Yeah,
it's needed.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have Killian roll a wisdom saving throw. As her goblin nature kind of bubbles up to the surface, and she gets a little bit selfish. She's feeling like maybe she wants to tell Jojo to head towards the bent tree, and like with the intent of like maybe she'll find who she thinks might be there. But if she passes, then she's going to do the right thing.
Alternatively, you can absolutely roll that. Alternatively, I will tell you this: if you do the selfish thing, you have a point of inspiration that you can use during this session. If you have one already, it will stack on top. But because you're giving into your selfish goblin nature, you have that energy that you can pump out for something else later.
Okay. I think
if you choose to fight it, then I can have you re-roll any one roll session.
I think blindsided as she is about who she thinks this person is. Like if it was like, oh, like yeah, we saw, like for example, she's not going to be like, oh man, like Killig, or it could be like right ahead of us. It's a person much closer to her, so she's going to say, look for the bent tree. We are going to the crag. Met a merchant. How many is this? One. Okay. Got a map. See you there?
Brilliant. As you finish this message, you hear it etched into your mind as the rune appears in response to your message, and you hear it clear as day. It's a little nerve-wracking because you send the message, it goes through, but you do not hear a response for quite a while.
Several minutes.
And then as it pops back in, you're just like, ugh.
Ooh. Yeah, as I'm just watching this fire get closer to me. Okay. Fire. How much does Jojo think that's Matilda?
Roll investigation. Also, Matilda, the fire at this point, because you did not say, I like carefully light one tree, you said, I keep blasting, and I start a forest fire. So what are you doing right now? Because there is a forest fire that is beginning to grow in front of you.
I'm trying to angle it on a way so I can walk alongside it while it's happening. I'm trying. I don't know how well I'm doing, but
you're attempting a controlled burn. Over the course of these 3 minutes, as Matilda moves down alongside, you can see that smoke seems to have somewhat of a pattern to it, and you can recognize that it seems intentional.
Okay. Yeah. Jojo, as she gets close to the fire, just with some somatic components, just splits, extinguishes the flame throughout her path with control fire. And as she's doing this, I think she can do several different effects at the same time. She's going to extinguish the path along her way, and she's also going to change the fire that she doesn't extinguish. She's going to change the color to yellow, because that's apparently one of the only colors that you can see. Wait, wouldn't it already be yellow? What's
the flame? The flame itself was like
blue. You're going to change it to blue.
The flame itself previously was like a very muted yellow, because it's kind of like a yellow-red leading to orange. But as you switch it to blue, it's just like a vivid, bright azure flame. You hear creatures respond to the blue flame and move away from you rapidly. You actually see underground You see the ground bubble up slightly as things begin to flee from this blue flame.
Ooh. Okay, cool. Blue is scary.
You begin to follow the path of destruction until eventually you meet with Matilda at the end of it, where you two manage to come back together.
It's so stupid. Oh, hey.
I just talked to Killian, like with a sending spell. She told us to look for the bent tree. Have you burnt it down? Or...
No, there's some trees that were like look like people that way. And oh my
Oh,
god.
you think those are the bent ones? Hang on. Do you mind if I extinguish this?
Okay, I worked really hard on it though.
I can let it burn if you want. Never mind.
No, it's fine. I
Hey,
was hoping they would see it, but
okay. I think JoJo's gonna also like send the flump up a tall tree. Does it fall to ash under the weight of a rat flump?
Have a rumpf. As
rumpf?
you send the rumpf up the tree, it crawls up relatively deftly. Go ahead and roll perception for a rat.
Yeah, I was gonna look through its eyes. So.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your
JoJo perception.
Do you use the perception of your familiar when you look through its eyes?
No.
I believe you do. That's why the
yes, I
hawk
do.
and the
That's
owl
so
has.
cute.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. Well, that was a 17 rolled, and I believe a rat has a perception of.
Just a
has
straight
a-
10.
Yeah. So just 17.
17. Glancing around, the rat sees the same things that you had previously seen, but from as it raises up, it sees off into the distance. You are currently.
Looking for a bent tree.
As you glance around, you see the massive cliffside above you. And off in the distance, you see that to your right, just a little bit south and east, is those kind of bending trees that almost seem as though they are flowing like dancers, leading off into the side. And to your north is that just thick, dense area of those nettles that you had previously been walking around.
Dancing trees it is, I guess.
I think so.
Oh, by the way, the blue seemed to scare away these critters, so I don't know if that's a good thing.
Oh, I guess I hate my jacket.
Yeah. Maybe here, I'll light a torch and then I'll change it to be blue, and then maybe that'll keep them away. Yoda does that, and we start heading that direction.
Okay. With an azure blue flame, you begin to move off in the direction of the bent tree pass. And as you continue there, eventually you reach the pass. Takes quite a while. You feel relatively uncomfortable at this point, as this amount of time passes. So you guys traverse from one area to the next. Killian and Vincent and that group, what are you guys doing right now? Do you remain where you are? Bagara's just like, got those dice. I got this. I got a rock. It's got a magic item in it.
It's
Takes it around.
okay. Killian, were you able to send the message to JoJo?
I responded, yeah.
Where are we supposed to meet?
I wasn't really sure. We should. I mean, we could go to the cliffside or maybe Crystal Lake.
If we go to the cliffside, they said they fell off of it, right? I don't know if there's any good. Hold on a second, actually. And he'll spin around and look towards Bagara. Your beautiful mounts there. Can they scale down the cliffsides?
Yep.
With the riders on them fairly safely?
Oh, you mentioned half orc is pretty big, yeah?
I'm actually taller than she is, but she's got a little more mass on her than I do.
He looks you up and down, and then he looks at himself like no more than 4.5 feet tall, and he's just like, all right, let me just think about this. Yeah, they're plenty strong. They'll be able to handle something like you with a bit more you on them.
Okay. Well, if that's the weight limit, let's take 4, 5. Let's take 5.
You want
Killian,
5?
You and Parker could double up, I assume.
Yeah, we could probably more than double up if JoJo can ride on it.
You're riding a pretty fancy. No, you don't have them out right now. He looks towards the two of you and is just like, 2 riders. You're both pretty tiny. Yeah, that'd probably be fine.
Then we'll need 5 total.
All right, that's 100 gold pieces.
Okay.
On the dot.
Vincent pays for his 20, and Paka, Killian, I'm assuming you'll put your 20 in. Paka, can you put your Matilda and Jojo's down, and they can pay you back? You seem to have the most gold on you right now. And I'll
Yes,
pay for Sellen's.
I will need you to remember how much this was. And then I will remember to tell them to remember that too.
Then he takes, that is 60 gold pieces off Paka.
Mm-hmm. And you also paid 2.
Why 60? It should just be 40.
No, it's
It's his
20
and
for
then
himself.
1 for each of you.
20 for you, 20 for
Yeah.
Jojo. That's 60.
And then Killian is riding with Paka.
Oh, but I already spent 20.
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah,
they are.
it
Yeah,
was only
sorry, I
supposed to be
forgot to double
40.
up. So Paka's is just 40.
Yeah.
Okay, I could say, okay, sure. Let me add that back.
And then I'll pay 40 for Selen, and she will owe me.
Just keep throwing it on top.
He doesn't say that to her. That's just how I did it when I was writing it.
No, she just knows. But as she sits back and she's just like, just counting her current rising debt, you guys jump on these fantastic steeds, and as he kind of just gives you one last salute, he's just like, I don't know if we'll ever see each other again, but if we do, we gotta go on that ferry ride you talked to me about. Seemed real pretty. You do not recall talking about a ferry ride at any point. It's like,
Yeah.
adios.
No.
You call out to him, and he's just like, he doesn't know.
No,
whether to
there's something
stop
I
or
wanted to
go.
ask when I bought the mounts, but these scenes seem to be moving faster than I can keep up.
No, we can pop back. He basically like turns around to leave, and then is trying to determine whether it's awkward to stop, and he's just like, "Nah, I want to keep talking." He turns around happily and comes back.
Vincent just wanted to ask, like, with purchasing these beetles, like, he has no idea how to ride them. We need command words. Like, I want to make sure that all of that was exchanged.
You get basically you just kind of like kick the back of the large chitinous plates, and then they move forward, and then you can steer them like this. They're like very simple-minded. They also every now and then, like if you are resting, they will go out. So don't be afraid if they're gone. They'll find and forage, and they'll come back.
And they'll always come back to their rider.
Mhm.
We get
Until you
separated?
guys leave the 4th floor, they are bound to you.
Sweet. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, then we can head out. If he's going, if he already left, then Vincent can't offer him his business card, which is what he was going to do. So
He will happily take it. But he's just like, oh, I like that. This place looks good. Is it on the 4th floor?
again, I don't. It's fine. Let's just move forward. I don't think he gave it to him.
Perfect. And then as we cycle back, you find yourselves with the other party. So you guys, I still need actually the direction you're moving. On the map, which way are you going?
Oh, you're talking to us?
Mm-hmm.
You said the Crystal Lakes. I guess we're going towards the cliffs because knowing that we can scale down these safely, it's not like as is hesitant to jump off a cliff. So
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
so you
we
head
want to go to
back-
the cliffsides.
Back
We
into
can't
the
head
frigid
back, so we have-
blast.
we can't head backwards though, right?
Not toward the Clockwork Forest. That pathway is closed.
Oh, okay, but we can head sideways towards the cliffs, basically.
Here, I will show this again. There's a timeout on the stream screen for this, so it'll keep popping up for you guys as well. So I apologize about that. But as you go to the southeast, I will need somebody to roll a survival check to make it through the blizzard.
Okay. Is there any way I can gain advantage, like if me and Killian work together? Or?
If there is any amount of proficiency between the two of you, then absolutely.
I do
Oh,
not
I guess-
have survival and proficiency.
Okay. Does Selen have survival proficiency?
Selenavs.
He's a wisdom-based person, so you never know.
History, insight, medicine, perception, religion.
Well, nope.
Remember when I asked you guys whether or not she would have religion proficiency? The correct answer was yes, she does.
That's still a good roll.
17.
Nerd.
You You manage to safely and successfully make it through the blizzard to the other side, where you reach the cliffside. The steeders basically stop, and as you guys are like just blinded, you begin to look down as this black smoke begins to just fill your senses. And you see this just trail of smolder. And as you guys begin to climb down the cliffside, just skittering through, it's weird holding yourself back so that gravity doesn't make you fall off these creatures. Requires quite a bit of skill, but you make it to the bottom safely, and you begin to traverse. You find the just line of devastation of this just flaming, scorched forest that leads in a direct line towards where two individuals seem to have gone based on the footsteps in the ash beneath.
I'm assuming we keep following it, but the problem is I don't know when we would catch up because of the distance we had to travel and moving.
Well, we
as
are
you,
mounted.
they move no faster than you guys. They just grant you advantage on these things.
Gotcha,
They actually
gotcha.
are.
Okay.
They are actually quite slow with people on them, but you do not lose any ground basically. As you are moving, each of you has now traversed yet another area. Here's the thing: you guys are basically somewhat far from each other right now, Jojo and Matilda. As you continue moving through, you went from the cliffside through the dancing trees. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. You end up, as you find yourselves in this, passing through this odd area with these strange trees bent at all different angles. You end up in an, yeah. You end up in a central section. These trees in various different locations, they begin to take on humanoid forms. And you can see as you look towards one of the trees and you begin to examine and you look back, you're almost certain the head was positioned in a different direction. And then as you kind of begin to glance, some of the trees have shifted in their motions. And you can hear creaking and cracking around you as the wind begins to pick up. But you can never see any motion in these things. In the distance around you, you see a pathway that is incredibly trodden. Just packed down and welcoming, leading in this just constant upwards motion up a hill that the ash dare not touch. And you can see it almost like built up in small embankments around this one pathway. I need you guys to roll perception.
Yeah, Matilda's like, that's suspicious. That.
I can get help from Flumpy.
Flumph, you may. Are you proficient in perception?
Yes, I am.
You may.
52.
22? Brilliant. You hear footsteps of creatures that are hiding within the forest itself. And as you turn around with the blue flame and just kind of like flicker it past, you can see eyes move back behind these trees. And then you see eyes as you continue bringing the flame out to look, just constantly ducking in behind these trees. But here's the thing. They seem wary. As you wave this blue flame around, they almost seem to immediately, like, give up the chase, but they're never very far.
Mm-hmm. I think we need more blue. I think control flame, I can make it brighter. Or, so she does that, but then, should I pull out a second one? Do you want one too?
Yeah.
Okay. She takes out another one and lights it and makes that one blue too.
If I cast light, can I choose the color? I'm assuming no.
I think you can.
Don't think it states in the spell. So
No.
that would be up to the DM.
The light can be colored as you like. Completely covering the object, something opaque that blocks light, etc. Yeah, you totally
I see
can.
that. Okay, cool. I make... I touch my earring and I make it shine blue.
It's just like a bright light pours out of it from 20 feet. And as you glance and you begin to look around, the creatures, as you two are moving in a tight clump, just kind of continue to remain at arm's length around you. But from where you are at current, there does not seem to be another pathway to go. Even the path that you had taken here previously is just trees now.
Okay.
I'm like holding on to like Jojo's belt loop so she can have free hands. So she can like...
Okay, great. Yeah, keep going up the path, I guess. Just keep on.
Yeah, there's really no other way to go.
As you guys begin to move, you have made your way quite a distance now. And as you pass through and you begin to go up the trodden path, some time passes as the camera kind of like focuses up the path, and then you see Vincent and Killian kind of move into frame, and Selenay's just like, fuck. Oh my god. The two of you reach the entrance where you had previously been, and you look up and you see the massive cliff side with the pass leading you back towards the previous floor. However, as you reach here, you are exhausted. What feels like no more than a couple hours of travel has equated to a day of attempting to move along these pathways, and any more travel for you guys will require exhaustion checks. But you, Jojo and Matilda,
I'm sped up.
Jojo and Matilda, at current, you are at the entrance where you had been before, and looking out towards everything. This does not look particularly safe to rest, but you feel exhausted. Meanwhile, Killian and Vincent, Selenay, and the rest of the party, you have just now reached the Dancing Pass, where you find these gnarled trees and eyes in the distance, watching ever brightly.
It works. We're reaching exhaustion. Well, dear. Killian, Selin, Paka. Vincent will gesture for us to stop and kind of move together. We can see the eyes off in the distance, right? Does it look like there's creatures up ahead? And I haven't seen any more traces of Jojo and Matilda. I'm also... I don't know how much longer we can hold out. I don't know if you want to push through, but we go into that, going towards the forest. It could get a bit hairy.
I'd be willing to keep going. I don't think it's safe here, right?
Not necessarily, but we'll have to do what we can to keep ourselves on guard. I don't think we're going to be able to stealth through it. They're already looking at us, so... Do we have any means to, like, put up protection? Selenay, you're a cleric. Do you have anything?
I'm not entirely certain what would be expected. I have a cudgel. I have some spells at my disposal. If we rest, I could probably get something a little bit more useful for us. But at current, I can... I have an awful lot of offensive spells. I can sanctuary us. Or at least some of us. At least one of us.
Let's just save that one to you. I guess we should just be vigilant. Let's get in a... Vincent assessing the situation. He wants to put us in, like, the best tactical order. And us being all somewhat close together so we can aid each other if anything happens.
So you guys decide to remain here?
No, we're moving forward, but it's
forward.
putting us in the best tactical. Like, these people should be in front, these people should be behind, kind of thing. And what was I gonna say? The just making sure that we're keeping an eye out. So,
gotcha. As you guys,
Just quick. If that's the case, Killian is going to take up the toy soldier, grab the little chicken, and toss it to the ground. To bring back Bladebeak, not to ride, but just because Bladebeak is a much more like wary companion. He's got good passive perception compared to Killian. So
I like to. You throw it down, and it just kind of like prepares itself. The eyes open, and then just begins to look towards these creatures that are just like ducking behind trees. They look. You can actually begin to hear them just. As they begin to move in and around, and more of these eyes begin to encircle, but they do not seem to yet approach.
Yeah, if they get to a point where it's like, okay, Vincent feels like in his gut they're about to pounce, like we're being surrounded, he's gonna cast something on himself, but I guess we'll wait for initiative for that.
Okay, well, you can ready that action right now just to see whether or not something happens. But what spell were you going to cast on yourself?
I think Vincent is going to cast... Actually, looking at the amount of creatures that are in the forest, does Is it a good bet to say like the bigger we make the group look, the bigger it seems like it's a threat to them and they would leave us be?
It seems like the more creatures there are, the more creatures appear. Because when Bladebeak appeared, more creatures seemed to join the fray. Maybe like more meat kind of thing. But as they approach you, you can see that there's some kind of stalking creature. Whatever they are, they use like your peripheral vision to their advantage. Almost in like an intimidation tactic. To make sure you know they're there, but when you look, they're gone. And it's unsettling, to say the least. But as you guys move, in an attempt to make sure you maintain this protection amongst yourselves, over the course of the next hour, Jojo and Matilda, you get a short rest if you decide to remain within the entrance groves. And
yeah, I would like to take a short rest so I can re-up all my stuff, and then I want Jojo
just one more thing.
Oh.
And then the two of you, along with Selene and the rest, begin to move up that trodden path as these creatures follow suit. And eventually, as you reach the entrance groves, they spread out. As the short rest continues for Matilda and Jojo, you guys get basically just about 2 hours into your short rest after you find yourselves here. As Vincent and Killian begin to move through on their... First off, you take note that they're... You first hear just a stampede leading up the pathway you guys had just come from. And as you begin to take defensive positions in whatever the hell this is, you begin to see massive insects begin to move across. And then eventually you see Paka's head poke out. And then under Paka lifts up is Killian, who's just like kind of being now. He jumps up on Killian's shoulders to look out over top. And then beyond that, eventually you see Vincent cresting the side. And Selene just looking exhausted and frustrated as they begin to move forward. Before we do the short rest stuff, I want to do just a series of rolls. Killian and Vincent, I need 2 successive Constitution saving throws.
I think you rolled in D&D Beyond, Killian.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why.
I was like, wait.
All right. Normal. Can I inspire the first one?
You may.
Use that inspiration I got.
So with the Constitution saving throw, Vincent, you succeed. Killian, you succeed. Vincent, you succeed. Killian, you succeed. You manage to fight off exhaustion for a DC 11 and 12 for these 2 hours of travel as you were making your way down the pathway. It definitely did not feel like 2 hours to you, but 2 hours have passed.
Also, as these giant beetles crest the hill, does Matilda shoot an Eldritch Blast at them? Because I feel like that's something she would do.
I was debating it, but like
You would have no idea it's us.
I know. It just depends on Matilda likes creepy things, so I'm just like, would she assume giant bug is bad? I'm gonna insight check the bug, and then depending on my insight check of the bug, depends whether or not I will shoot an EDBD at him.
All you knew was there was monsters after you in the forest from that direction, and now the giant beetles.
No, they were just.
You never shot at any of them.
Yeah, because yeah.
Had the light, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Insight.
Yeah.
I like the beetles, so I don't shoot the beetles.
Beetles are hard to insight because mandibles, not easy to read. However, as you look at them, you're just like, the click of friendship.
Yeah. I like bugs.
As they begin to approach, the party manages to gather together 2 hours into your rest, and Paka falls off the fucking beetle and collapses onto the ground, be like, Paka is the only person who failed those checks, and he failed both. So he has 2 levels of exhaustion.
I just want to rock him to sleep.
He just, as soon as the backpack comes off and you place your hands on him, just take me into the
As soon as he collapses into our area too, which I believe Matilda surrounded us with like bottles that had been cast with blue light.
No, I had a better idea. So basically, like the plan was that once we took our short rest, we were planning on like doing a long rest. So you see like this circle of like rope, because Matilda had rope, and it's like in this big like 10-foot circle, and I've cast light on it. So that's a blue light. So it's like this weird like blue lighted circle that we can make a bit bigger if other people have rope. But Matilda's plan was, because this bitch don't sleep no more, she got insomnia. She was gonna like every hour just be like, boop, light.
Yeah.
While she's like reading her book while Jojo slept.
And as soon as they pass that section, the alarm spell that Jojo had cast goes off in her own head. It's just like, oh, wake up, wake up. In her own head, in her own voice.
Vincent slides off the beetle and then just kind of like, I assume you'll know what to do, and just kind of turns around towards his friends. Well, I'm glad to see you all in one piece. What happened back there?
Oh,
Birds.
it was like bird, and it was like a lady bird that had boulders that had dropped on my head, and we ran off a cliff and fell.
I killed it.
Okay.
I
It's
also
a good
started,
day.
all together now, so
I started a forest fire. You guys didn't see the smoke.
we. Okay, that was what that area was.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
these?
What's with this get up here? Invisible gesture towards the blue circle.
Oh, they hate blue. So get your butts in here, please.
Selene approaches, places a hand
What?
on.
Hate blue?
Selene approaches, places a hand on each of your shoulders, and just says, "Don't follow anything."
Yeah, we were. I know you told us that before.
I was talking about Jojo and Matilda, who said
I
that they
know.
followed a big bird woman. Yeah. She, like, looks towards you, and she's like, "What would you guys do without me?" "Oh, yeah, jump off a fucking cliff."
We didn't
We did that
follow
with
it.
you.
We ran away from it. We followed it at first, but then...
So
we
you
kind
followed
of,
it, dear.
We kind of listened. Because in the second half, we ran away, and we weren't following it, but then we fell off a cliff.
Okay. Well, we're here now, and that's what matters. I was actually pretty worried. So let's not do that again, okay?
I'm gonna
Do it for
inside check
both.
that.
Go ahead and roll inside.
Yeah, I'm going to insight that until he's like, what? Yeah, she
Matilda,
was
you're not
worried.
sure? And Vincent, yours was the 27?
Mm-hmm.
In the back of your mind, you think maybe, just maybe, she's not being genuine. Because in her mind, maybe this is the thing to say to bond. This is what people
Aw.
say to bond. So, in a way, she cares, just not in the way that she seems to be portraying.
It's
Hmm.
okay, you don't have to pretend. I know I'm just here to help you murder your husband. And she'll just pats her on the shoulder.
You're here. She's sitting there trying to think of how to say this, and she's like, "You're here and to murder my husband." And she
Yes.
pats you on the shoulder and sits down and just fucking collapses into the dust.
Yeah, everybody go to sleep.
Well, dear, regardless of if you're taking watch, I don't want it to just be one person in case, well, maybe something happens.
We take first one because I got a good rest just now, so.
I'm actually peachy. I don't think Killian looks fine as well.
I didn't take any damage. I'm super impressed.
What is our plan here? It's been a while. It actually hasn't been as long as I thought, but I think the time being sped up thing,
Well,
which
I
means we might not need to sleep as long as we think we do.
you said there's a map or something. Jojo mentioned
It's more
something
like a
about
flow
map.
chart, dear, and I'll hold it up. Yeah, we met a trader. It's somewhat of an adventurer who basically lives on this floor. I guess
Can
we
I
got
copy
lucky.
that?
Matilda like
Yeah,
like,
I want to copy that.
Matilda takes it away from you first. She's like, no.
Okay.
She like
Yeah.
upset the brain.
Matilda, dear, we
Okay,
need to
here.
have a discussion. You need to ask politely if someone
Oh.
is holding something before you run over and take it from their hands, because it's honestly getting rude at this point.
Oh, sorry. I was excited.
You guys can all copy it down, but let's just calm down here. We're still in the middle of the dungeon on the floor, and I want us all to be a little bit more on alert. It's not necessarily fun times right now.
Speaking of alert, did you guys see anyone as you were going through there?
Lots of eyeballs.
Like, I think monsters. But no, we didn't see any other, like, adventures, if that's what you're asking.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just, monsters. Bladebeak, whoever wants to take watch, Bladebeak doesn't need to sleep, so I'll just tell them to follow your lead. and Killian's gonna go to the edge of the circle, kind of like near where this little rock face is, and just kind of like huddle with like her bags and other stuff, and just kind of like wiggle into the ground to start a rest.
Yeah, you lean back and you kind of just begin to dig down deep. And as you close your eyes, it comes pretty naturally.
Yeah, he's gonna go over to just one of the rocks and kind of lean against it for now.
So, what are these beetles? Where did you guys get these?
Who are you talking? Like Killian's asleep. Who are you talking to specifically?
I'm not fully asleep. I was just kind of like settling in.
Okay.
I just say, we got them from Bagara. Bagara, the merchant. They're called steeders. They're technically dungeon monsters, but he
They're
doesn't.
cute.
He doesn't ever leave the floor, so he's befriended them or whatever.
Oh.
They'll help us traverse, dear. We purchased them. By the way, you owe Taka. Each of you owe them 20 gold for your mount.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
I'm just making a steeder token.
And then, yeah, Vincent's good to just chill, I guess, and take his turn on watch for this long rest.
Okay, so the two of you, Jojo and Matilda, have that short rest. And then as you all begin to rest, you can all take a short rest here before the long rest concludes. But as you find yourselves within this area and the light around you kind of just constantly at this mid-level, you bear down and attempt to rest, but you keep hearing, as you attempt to sleep, shuffling of footsteps in the distance, just past the tree lines. Almost intentionally. And as you all attempt to dig down to rest, they continually try to distract you from that aim. As you lie down, go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw, each of you, please. Jojo, do you have your blue torch as well? Or did you snuff that previously and you guys are using the blue light?
We're using the blue light.
Okay.
Could I use my clockwork amulet to take the 10 on this?
I think, is a saving throw? Does clockwork amulet work with it?
That is a good question.
That might be only attacks. Yeah, it's only an attack.
Oh, it's only attack rolls. Okay, then I will roll it.
Sweet.
When it comes to like Matilda not sleeping, is this just so that Matilda's like not relaxing but just going on alert? That would affect her ability to rest, even though she's not. She's got insomnia.
Oh yeah, you actually don't need to do this at all. As you lean back, you just do not need to sleep. But these creatures are attempting to keep you from accomplishing that exact feat.
But also too, though, like there's a difference between like chillaxing and on watch, and then also like constantly having to go on alert because you see shit. So I could also have to roll too. So
in this instance, you're fine.
Okay.
And as you guys sit back and you begin to dig into your rest, Vincent, the rest is rather difficult. After about an hour, these creatures continue shuffling. So 1 additional hour has passed in this rest. Killian, you managed to lay down and begin to rest. Matilda, I'm just going to delete that one. Jojo, you kind of just plop down and alongside Paka begin to slam into sleep. Selene begins to rest, and Paka is already well out. Go ahead and roll a con save for him. Yeah, he is out. It's going to be hard to wake him. Not mechanically, but narratively. So as you guys are laying here to rest, an hour passes and these creatures do not let up. What do you guys do? Do you do anything about it, or do you attempt to continue resting?
Vincent, because he's the only one, he like opens his eyes, he looks over, and I guess Matilda's still on watch with Bladebeak, and he looks over and sees everyone else is resting. He's going to reach into like his lapel and pull out a pair of earrings and put them on, and then he's going to spend 10 minutes or so, and he's going to summon his unseen servant, and then he's going to pass it his violin and have it basically play music to help him sleep, and he's going to use the earrings to send the music just to him.
That's great.
Ooh, very nice. I'll actually bring an unseen servant in here, but I'll keep it invisible for fun. I will do this. As the unseen servant brings out the violin and begins to, I was going to say pluck, the worst violin playing ever. He begins to play this soft music that streams into your ears. And as you guys continue the rest, sitting back, good.
If I notice anyone's having a hard time sleeping, I think Matilda would like hum, but it's like a really creepy, spooky lullaby. Like she's just humming it and seeing if that helps anyone sleep. She's just trying to be nice and just sing like this, hum something kind of softly in the background to see if that helps anybody. But it might not do anything. But she just wanted to try.
I feel that would go either way.
She's definitely the kind of person who sings like "Ring Around the Rosie," but
yeah,
not
like
well
I feel like
but she's humming
it could either scare
sing
someone the shitless and cause them not to sleep, or it could help. It depends.
She sings it knowing full well what the meaning of the words is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what I would roll for that.
Roll performance. I think Selene leans back and is
no.
just like, reminds me of home.
Yeah. It just makes me think if you've ever seen like Lion King 2 and there's like that song, it's like it's like this like that's my lullaby. It's like really creepy, but it's like she sings it to him when he's sleeping. Yeah, it's sleepy. Oh, I didn't do too bad.
It's actually it's quite beautiful and very melodic. It's impressive, like to say the least. But as this creepy melody begins to kind of pour out, however people feel about creepy lullabies is up to them for sure. But you can see Paka begins to kind of just like shuffle off into the side and almost like in his unconscious state begins to like slither like a snake over towards the source of sound and then boots your foot and then just kind of flops down and remains there. I will say, because of that high performance check and the violin pouring through your mind, Vincent, everybody here who is not, I guess it's just Vincent at current, go ahead and roll one more Constitution saving throw to push past this last hour. You only need 6 hours of sleep in a 8-hour period of rest, so technically you have not dug into the long rest yet.
Okay, does Vincent's earring thing do anything, or was it just narrative, just to make sure?
No, the violin is, like, that's basically all you can hear right now. You have headphones in. But as you're listening to the violin that's playing in your mind, that's basically what begins to soothe you. You know these creatures are off in the distance, but whether or not they plan to attack, you do not know.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You told me to roll a con saving throw, so it's just normal?
Advantage.
Oh, there you go. 22.
Yay!
You managed to fall asleep. Matilda, roll perception.
Bladebeak also need to.
Hilda.
Please and thank you.
Oh, good job, Matilda.
Should also not be blinded. Jojo, you do not have a long stride. So a 20 and a 15 perception. As you glance out, you see as the two of you remain just infinite sentries. These creatures almost grow frustrated. You can see the motion. They live in your peripheral. When you look over towards them, like just lightning fast, they get out of the way, but they're always watching. And as you guys begin to fall asleep and remain so, they just begin shaking trees and trying to just remind you that they're there. And as you kind of remain up and awake and just staring out towards them, they don't attempt to move in. As they're looking towards you, these like giant fucking monstrous beetles behind you too are just kind of like communicating with each other via these clicks in the background. And you guys continue to rest until eventually you hear just like in the background. Killian, you are currently unconscious, but I want to see whether your dreams are affected by this. Go ahead and roll perception.
Okay. Killian is not good at perception.
A 10. In your mind,
Middling.
you hear the faint arguments of goblins in the distance as you are like walking amongst the city streets and looking for something, someone. And in your dreams, as you begin to move, you can hear goblins here, goblins there, beginning to encircle you. And as you look for them, they're gone. And then your dream passes on to something else. Maybe you're in the bank now, and it turns out you've won 2 million gold. That's amazing, kind of thing. But as you guys continue in the long rest, the end of the long rest comes as you hear a small army now of these creatures off in the distance, kind of awaiting weakness and a moment to strike that never comes with the eternal sentries that stand throughout the night. You may all take a long rest.
I think like Matilda maybe plays a little bit of chicken with them, being like, "Oh, is the light gonna go out? Ha ha ha! No, blue light, get fucked."
Well, I guess we all get up. At least Vincent probably has to sleep an hour longer because he took a while more than everyone else, or
You only need to sleep 6 in an 8-hour long rest. So if you had failed more than 2 of those, that would have been a problem.
Gotcha.
and he's fine. He just gets up a little bit later than you guys.
Here's what I'll say.
Just
At this
like-
point, a large amount of these creatures have gathered, and they are basically an omnipresent situation. As they have looked upon you, you guys in your, like collectively as a group, you ascertain there's probably 12 or more of these things. And they're constantly just outside of your peripheral vision, and they are tailing you as best they can.
Do we
Just
need to
waiting for
scatter
any
the
kind
flies?
of weakness.
I prefer not to have to deal with them. Can we just like move and ignore them till and if they ever become a problem, then deal with them?
Are they bunched up?
They are
Oh,
they are distantly placed. You see some behind trees, but like some behind rocks, some behind various different features. But when you go to look at them, nothing.
Can I hit one?
You can try to shoot it out of your peripheral
I'm-
vision.
I am asking the party. Do I? Would
Yeah, well,
you
if
be
you open combat with them, I'm assuming they'll all just defend
Right?
themselves and attack.
Is that
um,
is that what'll happen? Do you think?
They might just
Maybe.
flee.
They could flee, but that's a chance. Are they causing you guys any disconcern? They're more just there than they are anything else. Not hurting us in any way.
There are a
Could
lot
be
more
some
there
sort of
than. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there could be some sort of intimidation factor.
Well, there are a lot more there than they were last night.
what are they? Do we know?
Well, they look like dungeon monsters to me. It's my best guess.
You are entirely uncertain. You've never even gotten a close look at what these things are. You just see their eyes kind of poking through in the distance.
Mm. We can just keep going, and if they attack, we can, get them.
They seem like scavengers of sort. They might try to, if we do get in combat with anything else, they could use that as an advantage to attack us, but that's also risky for them because what we're fighting might not be friendly to them.
Well, how about we get going and see if they attack us? And Jojo will
I'm
start
down.
to pick up Paka, who I imagine still asleep.
He has 1 level of exhaustion remaining, and as you kind of like throw him over your shoulder, he kind of wakes up and is just like,
I can walk. I can do it. I'm just tired.
throws that massive bag over his shoulder, and as you go to pick it up, it's like, it's got a lot of stuff in it. This thing weighs probably a little under 200 pounds. But as he
Holy
just like
moly.
effortlessly lifts it and throws it over his shoulder, he just sidles up and begins to walk astride.
Well, yeah, Vince will go over and get up on a bug as well.
Is
Should be
there
one for
any-
all of us, except for Killian and Taco sharing one.
Are there any features on the ones that didn't have a rider that, like, are there like any colors? Do they all look uniform?
Yeah, there's a bunch of brilliant shades of gray. They all look slightly different. You can see that some of the carapaces are like wider. One of which has like the carapace of one of the eyes has been like pretty much fused shut. Looks like it had been cracked at one point. Some of them have larger mandibles. Others have the one that had the, like all of them. Like you can see on the tokens, they have many legs, but all of these creatures have only 3 legs, 2 forelegs and 1 in the rear. And when they run, it's basically like like that. It's good.
Has anyone claimed the one that's always winking?
Narratively, you can have it. Like I'm not gonna.
Yay!
Vincent just hopped up on one. If you were just like, "That's mine," he just it's not worth the morning. He just flies off of it and jumps on the
He
next
takes a
one.
chug out of that flask.
Yeah.
Hello. Your name is Buggles. And I like pat them on the head.
Should stay with us until we leave the floor and then they'll return to the master. But if we get separated, they'll find us.
Okay.
They're just about as fast as we would be, but
Oh.
they seem to have a better angle over certain terrain. We were able to scale down that cliff you fell down. No trouble at all.
Oh, that's good. Do we want to maybe use the sending stone to Lavos and see how long we've actually been in here?
Well, I would gauge it on my own body, to be honest.
Sure,
don't-
but we could just call Dad.
I know, but if we use it now, we have no way to. I guess we'd have to wait till the next day. Well, if we all
But I
die,
thought-
then
I thought to do it last night and then I forgot. So
I see. Sure. I'll message Lavos. Hey Lavos, how long have we been in the dungeon for? Was the last time you saw us?
From when you guys left previously, it's been just under 3 days. It was one, as far as you guys recall from Matilda's Key Mind, it was a day and a little over a day in order to get to the 4th floor where you guys are, which means you've been here a day and a half about on this floor. It feels like after you guys' long rest here, feels like, again, like 6 hours, maybe 7. But it's been about an additional day since.
okay, so it's not sped up that much.
From what you guys had seen, it doesn't seem to be consistent.
That's not
Oh,
good.
so it's only in one area, maybe. Maybe it's just in the clock area?
Well, let's not stick around long enough to find out, I guess. In
Okay,
case
well,
it
it's good we
changes.
slept here then, maybe.
Yeah. Well, according to the map, we need to go back to where we came from.
Yeah, towards the ticking, right?
Yes, and then from there, go back into the Frigid area, and this time, let's... Selin said that it didn't matter that we tied ourselves together and things like that. It usually separated us, but as long as you avoided the monsters and you went away from them, you all kind of tended to meet back up. So let's aim for that. After that, it seems like we're going to go to some sort of farmhouse.
Okay.
Or we could go down to a crystal lake, but that kind of just... Well, actually, that leads down to what looks like a rubbled doorway. Off
What
screen,
about-
but I have no idea.
What about going over the forest?
Yeah, did
Right.
you guys find the bridge?
No, we couldn't see it.
Did they mention anything about a bridge?
Thinking back to what Vargas... He mentioned we need to go over, but I don't think he showed us where it was on the
No,
map.
but there is a pathway.
He pointed over towards the area that was the canopy, and he said, you gotta basically go to that, like, redwood forest, and you gotta scour the canopy for bridges. And then you want to go
Where is
across
that
those
on the-
bridges.
I'm assuming that's the charred forest?
It's
It's
canopy.
in the canopy.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. But we can't see anything in there. It's just a blizzard.
You guys were in the canopy when you left the blizzard.
Okay, cool. Okay, we
We're
can...
just on the edge.
We gotta go near the edge of it, try to avoid the storm.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go. We have a plan.
Before we get going, Killian is going to take a look at the sky. Is the... Because, like, when you mentioned that Matilda had tried to, like, make fire signals, and then it got blown away, is
Yes.
that blown away... Is that just at the top of the cliff, or is that, like, much further up? Like, are there clouds above us?
As you glance up into the sky, it's like a gray sky, but you can see that there are cloud formations above you. There doesn't seem to be a sun, but it is almost evenly lit all across you.
Okay. So, let me just make sure that I can actually do this.
It was like a wind wall almost.
Also, you guys said
Wait.
they don't like blue, right?
Yeah, no, they don't like blue.
No.
You see Vincent's attire shift and shimmer and change as he activates his shift weed, and he has a blue, nice wealthy blue tux on.
It's all that season.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Killian
say?
is going to kind of like take out, like kind of sprawl a couple of her tools across the top of her beetle, and she's going to take just like a essentially just some chalk and start like writing on the top of the beetle, but instead of appearing on the beetle itself, as she takes like a stroke with her hand, it's going to carve like a symbol into the clouds, and she's going to continue to do that several more times until there is a message in the clouds. She is casting Skywrite.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Now let's see if this works.
Is it in Gobbo?
Ooh, Gabo.
It is in Gobbo, which I think, as long as I set language to Goblin, it should appear correctly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, I like how Goblin shows up.
The languages in these are
missing known.
Excellent. Copy this. Oh, I can copy the goblin too. That's fun. As you write this message in the sky as you guys begin to traverse, moving your way through down the ticking path. Eventually, a few hours pass, and you find yourself in the Clockwork Forest. As you begin to hear the crunching turning to ticking underneath your feet, and the creatures just you just hear crackling, almost like lightning, in the speed at which you guys are moving and the amount of feet that are doing it on the ground. You guys want to continue into the canopy?
That was the plan.
Alrighty, I need a survival check by one of you, please, and thank you.
Who has
Uh,
survival?
There can be
Yeah, I
advantage
think-
with help.
I don't think anyone is proficient in it.
I have a 0.
I have
would have a zero.
+1.
Vincent has
one.
the best survival I know from our previous stuff, but no one else is proficient, so just
I
roll
have
normally.
+1.
15.
Actually, I think in a previous stat block, Selene was proficient. in survival. I'll need to look into that. in
She
the
lost
past.
it. She gave it up for her religion.
Ash bonds are crazy, man.
Oh, her religion's
As you guys are moving through the forest, with a 15, you manage to avoid the thin traps that have been placed on the ground. You can see that trees have been moved and concocted. You can see that there are formations of trees that were built in the center of pathways that you guys had previously gone down, and you have to basically like tear them down as the ash just falls in these loose formations,
Setting up
and
traps for us.
attempting to divert your motion. But you manage to recall the path you had previously gone, and you find your way into the Frigid Canopy, where as you, knowing the general direction that you want to go, and Matilda always knowing north, you guys successfully managed to navigate from here to the point where you breached that frigid wind wall. You find yourselves at the base of the redwood forest that you had been called before. Matilda, as you move, and with your calculations from the previous methodology in trying to be like, okay, this is how long that took, this is how long that took. Keen Mind working alongside Jojo, helping you out with, and Killian, and all just the investigative party. You ascertain probably a good between 4 and 6 hours have passed in just this traversal that you've made so far. You guys now find yourselves at the edge of this massive canopy. Go ahead and roll perception for me as a group in order to attempt to find these things that Bagara had asked you to find. Those creatures that have been following you from behind are ever on your tail, though they do not seem to have grown in number since the last time you saw them.
Just as a kind of bookkeeping, Strumbeak is no longer active, is just now a pin. And at some point during the journey, Killian would kind of jump over to Vincent's beetle and just really quickly infuse the mind sharpener on his armor.
Thank you, dear. Should come in handy.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need it back.
Would that
It should be fine.
would that alter the outcome of this one? What does Mind Sharpener do?
No, it's just I just wanted to say that I did it so that we're good to go. Because
Okay.
I change infusions during a long rest.
Yeah, Mind Shepherd makes it so that if I fail a Constitution saving throw, specifically to concentrate on a spell, I can just choose to succeed instead.
Awesome.
3 times per long rest.
That's great. You guys reach the edge of the forest, and as you begin to move in, these just large, like cylindrical trunks of gray ash, you look and you see the bark, and as you kind of scrape by, you see them just like flitter off as though just running your hands along burnt firewood. And as you continue, the creatures following quick suit, you manage to spot Vincent through the incredibly dense canopy above you, wooden planks that just breach the bottom briefly and carry through into the top.
It's over there. With that perception, can I see a path that would be safe to get up there?
Glancing through, you see that one leading into another one, and as you continue looking around within the area, you see one pathway that kind of begins to go lower than the rest, following along the forested trail towards it and keeping track of the creatures around you. You also take note, same perception check, that beneath you, the vines seem to be creeping in towards the legs of these creatures.
What does that even mean?
The vines on the ground are moving towards you guys and the creatures you are.
Oh, the creatures that... Oh, okay.
We're riding.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
meant
probably
the,
should have
like, other
specified that.
creatures. Yeah.
What if I cast firebolt at them? What happens
Make
to
an
the
attack roll.
vines? Okay.
Yeah, Vincent will connect in your guys' mind and let you guys know that you notice that the vines keep moving closer to us.
You're like, no thanks. I did this last time and you guys all caught on fire, so goodbye. Attack. Normal. Does 15 hit?
15, you just reach down, blast the vine, and as it hits, go ahead and roll damage.
10 damage.
10,
It's 14. All radiant fire damage at level 6
yeah.
allows you to add your
Plus
poison
4.
modifier to it.
Amazing. The flames wrap around it, and as it just begins to singe, the vine rips back aggressively, and it just begins to dig itself down into the ash underneath. And you see the other vines kind of almost begin to recede, almost as though each and every one of them were connected to a single entity.
Yeah. Sorry
see-
I hurt you. No thanks.
Off in the distance, Vincent, you see one vine begin to move up the tree, receding back up towards the canopy where you guys were headed.
That's
Ooh.
not good.
Oh, oops.
We
Sorry.
might have offended something, but we'll see. I don't know how sentient plants work, but yes. Let's just keep going, though. There's a route over there I think might work. No point to it, as he maneuvers his beetle in that direction.
Mama
I'm,
Mel always says aim for the brain.
Where do you aim for a brain on a plant?
I don't know.
I have a good history of dealing with sentient plants.
That's somehow an odd canon that's made its way in, huh? Go ahead and find this.
I've recently had a lot of experience with sentient plants, so maybe let me do the talking.
Are you sure, dear? Vincent smiles as he's running forward.
Yeah. I
It's
can
all
talk
yours
to
then.
plants.
You guys make your way up towards the canopy top. As you begin to move in, you can see, well, I'm a little bit ahead of myself. You follow the canopies until eventually, Vincent, you find a single hidden wooden ladder that seems to be just like the base leading in and up. And you can see above, just breaching the trees once more, a built wooden kind of encircling platform. The creatures that you are currently on definitely seem like they could get up there, just kind of climbing the tree itself and then crawling underneath. However, as you begin to move up, you see the vines on the trees themselves all begin to once again recede, almost threateningly, making its way back towards the top of the canopy.
Like
it's
we're
trying to-
threatening it, or it's threatening us?
Like it's threatening you. At this point, these vines, motionless, were impossible to tell were not living, until eventually they almost seemed to notice you and were like,
Okay, so it's it threateningly ran away, is what I.
It wants to stop us from getting up to the bridge where we need to go, right?
Okay, so it's blocking the path that the beetles would take, but looking at the ladder, could it block that as well?
So you guys can get up. It's just letting you know it's up there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just being like threatening presence. It's like, hey, you come up
Well,
here, might have a problem.
We're coming up. Let us through.
We're gonna walk
leads
past
the
it.
way.
We're gonna walk past it, and it's gonna hit us with its shoulder on our shoulder. Just
At
Yeah.
this point, Vincent lets everyone go up the tree first, then he'll head in last, or at least between like Selin and them at the back. Jojo said she has the talking handled, so he's gonna let her.
Don't worry, I have bush children.
I
What
hold
does
a firebolt.
that mean?
I told Toy Soldier Bladebeak.
If I see Matilda like about to like have the fire in her hand again, in your head you just hear, dear, it might be better if we like speak with them first, or just see what's going on. Once things seem lost and hostility is the only route, then we can blast them.
Okay, I was gonna hold it, but I can.
Yeah,
not
but
hold it.
crackling fire in your hand is a bit intimidating. People
Oh.
tend to not listen to you as much.
You breach the top and you make your way up onto the wooden pathway. You look around and those creatures that had been moving in your peripheral finally begin to make themselves known. You see pale blue skin pulled back into these just blackened eyes that just are not even to the flat of the face, but almost like a fish's face, are stretched across the back of the head. The head itself pulls itself back like a bean, literally like a kidney bean that is pulled back down to a thin, rounded tip. You see long, lanky arms holding spears and like very crude short bows on the back as one begins to move into position on the canopy bridge and just dum, 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 hits the spear down as more begin to move in, effortlessly crawling up the tree sides until eventually you see easily 10 of them in position. And as they do so, you see a single vine peek up over the top of this tree from behind, pulling itself in and rooting onto the tree until it crunches the tree to the point that it just impacts, and then another vine, and another, and another, as a creature easily like 15 feet tall begins to lumber over the top of this tree, crushing the top of the canopy in the far distance, and you see just two little flowers bloom, as though to be eyes before they open fully, and you see thousands of little black dots as it just begins to focus in on you with these tree stalks.
Ooh.
And as it glances, all of these creatures look in towards you, and in Goblin say, "Feast time." And that is where we will end today's session.
Goblin. Interesting. I guess none of us would know that.
Nope,
Or
none
Sorry.
of you.
None of us would know what
Sorry,
they
guys.
just said.
Ah!
Let's just talk to them, I guess.
Yeah.
No pressure. As you all look.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like, I don't think I did the bad thing. Ah!
As you look onwards towards this massive, hulking beast that stares down upon you from the far distance of these interwoven canopy bridges, now covered in foes that are attempting to both subvert your pathway and just tear you to pieces. That is where we end today's session. And thank you all for joining this episode session, this little thing that we do. And until next time, bye, everybody.
Hi.
See ya. Oh, you kind of did it, Candace, but it was too late.